Hello students, welcome back to the online classes of physics. This is your name, is back again with a new class, with a new lesson, metals and non-metals. So in our previous class we have learned that you have learned about the materials, the synthetic fibers and the properties and about the plastics. So what do you think, plastics are metals or non-metals? Obviously they are non-metals, right? We know the difference, what is metal and what is non-metal. Metal, if I ask you what are the examples of metal, what do you say? You give the example of gold, you give the example of your bucket, you give the example of your plate, you give the example of your hammer, you give so many examples, right? Isn't it? So these all comes under your metal, steel plates and your all these, everything whatever you have at your home in our daily lives, that comes under the metal. Yes. So here in this chapter we actually know what is the difference in the metal and non-metal. Yes. In this chapter, we will learn about the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. That is the main motto, main aim of this lesson is about learning about the properties, that is physical and chemical properties of the metals and non-metals. So we have learned about lustrous and non-lustrous in a previous class. Yes, lustrous and non-lustrous. Lustrous means the object which is having a bright surface. What it is having? The material which is having a bright surface and it shines when the light falls on it. It reflects the light back. So what have we learned? The materials which have a bright surface and reflects the light are called as lustrous. Example, you have seen gold. Yes, gold, and you have seen silver. They shine when the light falls on it. Yes, they shine. Steel plates, they shine when this light falls on it. Whereas the materials which do not shine are called as non-lustrous. Okay, the materials which do not shine are called as non-lustrous, and the materials which shine are called as the lustrous. So what do you think, which is metal and which is non-metal here? That means the metals shine. Yes, so that means the metals are lustrous, whereas the non-metals, they do not shine, so they are non-lustrous. Yes, the non-metals are non-lustrous and the metals are lustrous. So this is one physical property we have learned. Yes. So the first property that we have learned was lustrous. So that means the metals are lustrous, right? And second property is sound. Sound. When the metals are dropped down onto the ground, do they produce sound or not? Yes, of course they produce sound. So that means the metal produces a particular sound. Suppose you drop a nail onto the ground, you see that you get some particular sound. Or you drop a steel plate, you will get a definitely particular, that sound is particular. You will understand that if the plate has fallen, you'll come to know that yes, plate might have fall down into the kitchen. Yes, and a nail falls, you will see, you will definitely, when the nail falls, you will understand yes, nail has fall down there somewhere. Yes, so that means the metal have a particular sound. Okay, it produces a particular sound. Fine. Then if you say, ma'am, non-metal also produces, yes, non-metal also produces, but in non-metal, suppose a plastic falls down, you don't know whether what has fallen down. You will know that yes, some plastic or something has fallen down, but you don't know particularly what has fell down. But if you come to know, that a nail has fell down, you will come to know yes, there might be some nail has fall down there. If you come to know that a plate has, steel plate is it has fell down, you will come to know yes, that particularly plate has fall, it's there is a fall of plate in the kitchen. Fine. So that is the difference that makes that metals produces a particular sound. If you see your school bell ringing, you will see that when the auntie hits the bell, Okay, you will see that some ton sound comes, right? So that is nothing but it's a sound produced by a metal. So materials which produces ringing sound are called as sonorous materials. What are they called as? They are called as sonorous materials. What are they called? They are called as sonorous materials. Fine. And the materials other than metals are not sonorous. Okay. Most of the metals are sonorous. So we have learned about the two properties. So the next property is malleability. Malleability. What is malleability? Malleability is nothing but materials can be converted into fine, thin sheets to make the desirable objects. Okay. For example, if you see your house shed, okay, you see that they are made up of metals. What they'll do, they'll just beat it up so many times. They'll beat it up and they'll prepare this kind of sheets which you keep on your roof of your house. Okay, so that is possible because of this malleability property. Fine. So next property what we are going to learn, for example, I'll tell you. Wait, first we'll discuss about malleability. You just take a hammer, okay, and take a metal. You try to beat it. If that metal becomes flat or comes prepare into thin sheet, then it is said to be it is having the malleability property, and it is said to be that the metal is malleable. Okay, if you see that the metal, if on be heating with the hammer also, it is not turning into a thin, sheet, then that object is said to be non-malleable. Fine. Property is ductility. Ductility means it is nothing but the whatever metal we are having that can be drawn into thin wires. You see your copper wire, you see your zinc wire, you see your this one iron wire, you see your magnesium wires. Yes, aluminium wires. How are these possible? These are possible by their property of ductility. All the metals are not able to turn into wires, right? If you check the sulfur, if you see the carbon, you can say that they are not ductible because no carbon and no sulfur wires can be prepared. Okay, whereas if you see the zinc wires we have, the copper wires we have, which we use in the electricity, so they are drawn into thin wires. That is, they are having the ductibility property. They are ductile. Okay. So with this we have learned about lustrous, sound, malleability, and ductility. So as we come to know that in ductility, we can see the production of thin wires. So we will see that if thin wires are produced, then in which we can have the this wire means we are using it for electricity, right? So we will see how this conduction of electricity will take place. So if you see the examples, you can see iron, copper, zinc, aluminium, etc. But let us know that if when we are using, when the electrician, when he is using a screwdriver, okay, when he is testing a screwdriver or when he uses tester, why does that tester consisting of a screwdriver or the tester consisting of plastic or the non-metal handle? Have you ever seen the tester or the screwdriver? You'll see that here you can see there it is a metal rod, and upon it there is some non-metal handle to fit the screws and all. Yes, do you see that? Why do you have that? Because these screwdrivers or the testers, they are able to transfer the electricity. Okay, the electricity can be transferred because the metals are the good conductors of electricity. Okay, metals are the good conductors of electricity. For example, if you see you know how to prepare the circuit, right? We have learnt in our 7th class about electricity. There we have prepared a test circuit. There what did we do? We have added first, used the battery. Yes, then what did we do? We have connected this battery to one bulb. Okay, then we have here what we are going to do, we are not going to connect the direct the positive end or the negative end, we are just negative end we are connecting it to bulb, wherein the positive end we are connecting it to, we are doing one change here. What we are doing, we are adding one metal here. If you take nail, okay, if you take nail, you know that this nail is made up of metal, iron metal, isn't it? So that what we are doing, we are just connecting this to a nail, okay, and this nail we are connecting to bulb. Now we will see whether the electricity is passing here or not. Okay, so what does we do, we will just on the battery. Now you see that the current is passing and you are seeing that there is a glow of bulb. So that means this current is passing through the nail and there is a flow of current in it, right? So the materials that allow electricity to pass through them and make the bulb to glow are called as electric conductors. Okay, and the metals are the good conductors of electricity. So the handle of both electric appliances or the cooking utensils, they are not made up of metals. If you see while cooking also, your vessel is made up of, your utensil is made up of some metal, copper, silver, whatever it is, but the handle is made up of some non-metal. It is not made up of metal. Why like that? Because this, as it is a good conductor of electricity, it is also a good conductor of heat. Okay, it's also a good conductor of heat. Fine, it's also a good conductor of heat. How you can say that? See, if you don't keep a plastic handle, what will happen, just when you are passing the heat of your stove, you can see that this utensil, whatever the silver vessel you are using, this will get hot, right? If you touch the handle here, suppose you are not having this plastic or the non-metal, you are holding this, will you be able to hold it? No, your hands will burn. So to avoid that, what we have here, we have the non-metal which will not allow the heat to pass. That means non-metals are the bad conductor of electricity as well as bad conductor of heat, whereas the metals are the good conductors of heat and electricity. For this, what we will do one experiment. Conductivity of heat, I'll go with one activity. For example, we are just taking one nail, sorry, not nail, we'll take one iron rod. So we have taken one iron rod here, and to this rod, with the help of wax, what we are doing, we are fixing few nails. We are just fixing these few nails with the help of rod, wax. Okay, so now what we are doing, we are just taking one chimney or anything like to provide an heat, or just we will take anything. Okay, from this chimney, what you are doing, you are just passing the heat. Okay, you are just passing the heat and you are burning, you are heating this iron rod. Okay, simply you are heating this iron rod. So what is this iron rod doing now? When you are heating this iron rod, the iron rod, when it is getting heated up, it is just, you can see that the whole rod is heated up now. So this, what is happening, because of this heat, the wax whatever is present here will start melting. It starts melting. Then what will happen, when it starts melting, the iron rod starts falling down. It starts falling down. So slowly all the rods, whatever wax is present here, it will start melting and the nails start falling down. The nails start falling down. So that means heat, the nail which is present closer to the heat will start falling first. Okay, so that means all the materials do not have equal conductivity, but the iron, copper, aluminium and these cooking vessels are preferred to the high heat conductivity. Mostly you can see that iron, copper and aluminium, they have the high conductance of heat. Fine. So with this we have learned about the chemical physical properties of metals and non-metals. Fine. Wait for the next video. Until then, take care. Thank you.